Every major transformation in life starts with a single choice, the decision to take control, to act, and to stop waiting for the right time. You don't need to have everything figured out, you just need the courage to decide. That one moment of clarity can shift your direction entirely and lead you toward a new beginning. Think about it, every success story, every remarkable journey, every life-changing moment begins with one decision. A decision that says, I am done waiting, or I am ready to try. Most people spend their entire lives waiting for the perfect timing, waiting for the ideal circumstances, waiting until they feel ready. But the truth is, that moment rarely comes. There is no perfect time. There is only now. The right time is the moment you decide that you've had enough of where you are and you're ready to move toward where you want to be. One decision can alter the entire course of your life. It might be the decision to quit a job that drains your spirit, the choice to finally pursue your dream, or the moment you decide to stop letting fear control you. It doesn't have to be something grand or dramatic. Even a small internal decision can start an unstoppable chain reaction. That one choice to believe in yourself, to trust your instincts, to take a chance, can completely transform your future. When you decide, you take back your power. Decision gives direction. Without decision, you drift. You allow life to happen to you instead of shaping it. But when you make a decision, a real, committed one, something shifts inside you. You begin to act differently, think differently, and attract different opportunities. The moment you say yes to change, the universe begins to align with your energy. The doors that were once invisible start to appear. Many people underestimate the power of a single decision because they believe transformation requires massive effort all at once. But transformation is not about changing everything overnight. It's about choosing a new direction and walking toward it consistently. One decision creates momentum, and momentum creates results. When you decide, your focus sharpens. You start seeing possibilities, where before there were only obstacles. Your actions begin to reflect your new mindset, and little by little, your life starts to transform. However, deciding is not always easy. The human mind loves comfort. It wants safety, predictability, and familiarity. That's why people stay in the same place for years, the same job, the same habits, the same fears, even when they know they're not happy. But the difference between a life of regret and a life of fulfillment often comes down to one thing: the willingness to choose discomfort over stagnation. The courage to make that one decision that scares you but excites you at the same time. When you decide, fear will show up. Doubt will whisper, what if you fail? But the real question is, what if you never try? What if that one decision could open doors you never imagined possible? What if that small act of courage becomes the moment you look back on years from now and say, that's when my life changed? You never know what could happen until you decide. Every great achiever you've ever admired had to make that one decision. The decision to start when no one believed in them. The decision to keep going when things got tough. The decision to rise after every failure. That's the beauty of choice. It gives you power even when the odds are against you. It doesn't matter where you come from or what your past looks like. The moment you decide to change, you begin to write a new story. One decision can redefine your identity. It can separate the person you were from the person you are becoming. It can take you from being a dreamer to a doer, from a follower to a leader, from a victim of circumstance to the creator of your destiny. And all it takes is one bold, intentional choice, a decision to stop waiting for permission and start creating your own path. Don't underestimate the quiet power of a single decision. It's not about having all the answers or knowing the entire plan. It's about having the courage to take the first step. Once you decide, clarity begins to unfold along the way. Each new step reveals the next one. Each action builds confidence, and each moment of progress fuels your belief that you can do more. So, when life feels uncertain, when you feel stuck or lost, remember this truth: you are one decision away from an entirely new life. The moment you choose courage over comfort, action over hesitation, and growth over fear, the path ahead begins to change in ways you could never imagine. Your power lies not in waiting, but in deciding. Your life will only change when you take full responsibility for where you are and where you want to go. Stop blaming circumstances, people, or luck. The moment you say, "It's up to me," is the moment your power returns. That decision to own your path is the turning point between being stuck and being unstoppable. Taking responsibility for your life is one of the hardest yet most powerful decisions you will ever make. It means looking at where you are right now, your situation, your relationships, your success, your struggles, and accepting that, in one way or another, your choices, your mindset, and your actions have played a role in creating it. It's not about guilt or blame, it's about power. Because the moment you accept that you are responsible for your life, you also accept that you have the ability to change it. Blaming others might feel comforting in the short term. It's easy to say, "I'm not where I want to be because of my boss, my parents, the economy, or bad luck." But blame is a trap. It gives away your power. When you blame, you hand control of your life to someone else. You make yourself a passenger instead of the driver, and as long as you keep blaming, nothing will change because you've already convinced yourself that you can't change it. Responsibility is freedom. It means realizing that your future is not determined by what happens to you, but by how you respond to it. You may not be able to control every event, but you can always control your reaction. You can choose your attitude, your effort, and your focus. You can choose to rise after failure or to give up. You can choose to learn from pain instead of being defined by it. Every time you take responsibility, you take back control. The most successful people in the world share one common trait: they own their lives completely. When they fail, they don't make excuses, they look for lessons. When they succeed, they acknowledge the hard work that got them there. They don't rely on luck or wait for help. They understand that growth begins the moment you stop pointing fingers and start looking in the mirror. Because the truth is, as long as you keep waiting for someone else to change your situation, you'll always stay where you are. Taking responsibility also means breaking free from the victim mindset. Life is not always fair, and challenges will come your way. But playing the victim keeps you powerless. When you focus on what's wrong, you stop seeing what's possible. Taking responsibility doesn't mean pretending everything is fine. It means facing reality head on and saying, "This is where I am, and I have the strength to do something about it." That single shift in mindset separates those who stay stuck from those who rise. When you say, "It's up to me," you activate your inner strength. You stop waiting for motivation, opportunities, or other people to fix things for you. You begin to take action, even if it's one small step at a time. You start making decisions that align with the life you want, not the one you are trying to escape. That's when change becomes inevitable because you've taken ownership of your direction. Responsibility is not a burden, it's empowerment. It teaches you that your results are a reflection of your choices, and if you want better results, you must make better choices. It gives you clarity. You no longer wonder, "Why me?" Because you start asking, "What can I do differently?" This mindset creates leaders, dreamers, and doers. It builds resilience because when life tests you, you don't crumble, you adapt, you learn, you evolve. Owning your life also means accepting your past without letting it define your future. Everyone has made mistakes, faced disappointments, and experienced loss. But when you take responsibility, you stop living in the shadow of those moments. You realize that your past cannot be changed, but your response to it can shape everything that comes next. Each time you choose to take responsibility, you rewrite your story, turning pain into purpose and failure into fuel. The truth is, responsibility is the foundation of freedom. The more you own your actions, the more control you gain over your destiny. You stop reacting and start creating. You stop waiting for life to change and start becoming the change. When you accept that no one is coming to save you, you discover that you've always had the strength to save yourself. Your life begins to shift the moment you realize that everything you want, success, happiness, peace, confidence, starts with you. It's not about luck or timing, it's about choice. The choice to take responsibility, to stand tall, and to lead yourself forward no matter how many times you fall. Because in the end, responsibility is not just about owning your past, it's about shaping your future with intention, courage, and unwavering commitment to growth. Many people wait for a miracle, but miracles often begin as small, consistent actions taken after a powerful decision. Whether it's improving your health, chasing your dream, or walking away from negativity, one small choice today creates a ripple effect that transforms your entire future. The truth is, people often imagine that change happens in one big dramatic moment, a sudden breakthrough, an unexpected opportunity, or a life-altering event. But in reality, transformation rarely comes that way. Real change is not about one huge step, it's about a series of small, deliberate steps that compound over time. Those small steps, taken with faith and consistency, are what create the miracle people are waiting for. We live in a world that glorifies instant success. We see overnight sensations, viral fame, or people who suddenly make it, and we start to believe that transformation is about luck or timing. But what we don't see is the years of quiet effort behind those moments. Every overnight success is built on thousands of unseen decisions to try again, to keep going, to stay disciplined even when no one is watching. Those small choices are the foundation of greatness. The most powerful part about small actions is their ability to create momentum. Once you take that first step, no matter how small, something begins to shift. Your mindset changes. Your confidence grows. You begin to see progress, even if it's just a little at first. And that progress fuels your desire to keep going. Before you know it, the small actions that once seemed insignificant become habits, and those habits reshape your entire reality. Let's say you decide to improve your health. You don't need to transform your entire lifestyle overnight. You can start with one decision: drinking more water, going for a short walk, or sleeping an extra hour. Do it today and then do it again tomorrow. Over time, that one small action becomes a habit, and that habit creates change. You start feeling better, thinking clearer, and showing up stronger. That's how miracles happen, not suddenly, but steadily. Or maybe your dream is to build something: a business, a skill, a purpose-driven life. The first step might not look like a miracle. It might look like staying up an extra hour to work on your craft, reading one book a month, or reaching out to one new person who can help you grow. Those small actions may seem invisible at first, but they plant seeds that eventually bloom into something extraordinary. Every great Jew, Rennie, begins with that single step followed by another and another. And sometimes, the most powerful small decision is the one to walk away from negativity, from toxic habits, from environments that drain your energy. It takes courage to say, "This no longer serves me." But that single decision opens the door to peace, clarity, and new opportunities that you couldn't see before. You don't have to know what's waiting on the other side. You just have to trust that every time you choose growth over comfort, life begins to move in your favor. Small actions build trust within yourself. When you keep promises to yourself, even the small ones, you develop inner strength. You start believing in your ability to follow through, and that belief becomes a powerful force. It's not about perfection, it's about consistency. Even when progress feels slow, each small action is shaping who you are becoming. You may not see the change day by day, but over time it becomes undeniable. Miracles are not random, they are the result of discipline, patience, and faith. They are born in the moments when you choose to keep going, even when results aren't visible yet. Each small step sends a message to the universe that you're serious about your growth, and in return, life begins to align in unexpected ways. People you need to meet cross your path. Opportunities you once missed begin to appear. Doors you never imagined open up, not because you waited for a miracle, but because you created one through action. When you take consistent action, your life starts to gain direction. You begin to move with purpose instead of drifting through uncertainty. You learn that you don't need giant leaps, just forward motion. One small choice today, followed by another tomorrow, creates momentum that becomes unstoppable. That's how transformation works: quietly, gradually, and powerfully. So if you find yourself waiting for something big to happen, remember that the miracle you're hoping for might already be within your reach. It's hidden in your daily choices, in the discipline to keep showing up, in the courage to try again, and in the patience to stay committed when progress feels invisible. Miracles are not distant events, they are built one small action at a time, one day at a time, by people who decide to move forward even when no one else believes. Because in the end, it's never about how fast you move, but about your willingness to move at all. One small step, one small change, one powerful decision, that's all it takes to set in motion a ripple that can transform your entire future. Whenever you decide to change, fear will try to pull you back to comfort. But remember, fear is a sign that growth is near. The difference between those who stay the same and those who succeed is the courage to follow through despite fear. Stand firm, your new life is waiting on the other side of that fear. Fear is one of the most powerful emotions that human beings experience. It's a natural instinct designed to protect us from danger. But in today's world, fear often doesn't come from physical threats. It comes from uncertainty, change, and the unknown. Every time you make a decision to grow, improve, or step into something new, fear will whisper in your ear. It will tell you to stay where you are, to play it safe, to avoid the risk. It disguises itself as logic, convincing you that you're not ready, that you'll fail, that it's better to wait. But deep down, fear isn't a stop sign, it's a signal that you're moving towards something meaningful. Growth and fear are inseparable. You cannot evolve without facing discomfort. The moment you decide to change, you're stepping out of your comfort zone, and that's exactly where fear lives. Your mind will try to keep you safe by holding you inside familiar territory, even if that territory is limiting or unfulfilling. That's why so many people stay stuck, not because they lack potential, but because they allow fear to dictate their decisions. They let fear control their path instead of using it as a guide toward growth. Every great achievement, every bold transformation begins with someone who felt fear and acted anyway. The difference between people who move forward and those who remain the same is not that one group is fearless, it's that one group learned to move forward despite fear. Courage is not the absence of fear, it's the decision that something else, your dream, your freedom, your purpose, matters more than the fear standing in your way. When fear shows up, it's a sign that you're stepping into new territory. You're about to do something that challenges the limits of who you've been. That's why fear feels so uncomfortable, because it's pushing against old boundaries. But that discomfort is proof that you're growing. It's evidence that you're evolving into a stronger, wiser, more capable version of yourself. You can either interpret that feeling as a reason to stop or as a message that you're on the right track. The truth is, fear loses its power when you face it. The first step is always the hardest because your mind is filled with what ifs. What if I fail? What if I am not good enough? What if people judge me? But once you take action, those thoughts begin to fade. You start realizing that fear is an illusion, a mental barrier, not a physical one. Most of the things you fear never actually happen, and even when they do, you're far more capable of handling them than you think. Fear thrives in hesitation. The longer you wait, the louder it becomes. But once you act, fear begins to shrink. It cannot survive momentum. Every time you take a step forward, even a small one, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than your doubts. You build confidence not by eliminating fear, but by walking through it. Each act of courage builds another layer of strength until one day the things that once scared you no longer hold power over you. Think about every meaningful change in your life: learning something new, starting over, leaving something behind, taking a chance. Each of those moments came with fear. Yet, each time you moved forward, your world expanded. That's the gift hidden inside fear: transformation. Fear doesn't show up when you're doing what's easy. It shows up when you're about to step into something greater. It's not there to stop you, it's there to test how badly you want it. People who succeed are not fearless, they simply make peace with fear. They understand that fear will always be part of the journey, but they don't let it make their decisions. They feel it, acknowledge it, and move anyway. They know that the pain of regret is far greater than the discomfort of fear. While others wait for the perfect moment, they take imperfect action, and that's what creates momentum, progress, and success. Your new life, the one filled with purpose, confidence, and growth, is waiting on the other side of that fear. But to reach it, you must be willing to walk through the uncertainty, to trust yourself even when the path isn't clear. Each time you face fear and keep going, you step closer to your potential. You begin to see that fear was never the enemy, it was the compass pointing you toward the very things that would help you grow. Because the truth is, fear is not there to stop you, it's there to awaken you. It's a reminder that you're alive, that you're stretching beyond what's comfortable, and that something extraordinary is waiting beyond the edge of your comfort zone. And every time you choose courage over fear, you take another step toward that extraordinary version of yourself that you were always meant to become. You don't need to make a perfect decision, you just need to make a bold one. Every successful person started without knowing the full plan. What mattered most was their willingness to move forward. Progress happens when you stop overthinking and start doing. Perfection is one of the greatest illusions that hold people back from creating the life they want. So many dreams are left unrealized not because of lack of ability, but because of the fear of making the wrong choice. People wait for the perfect time, the perfect plan, the perfect opportunity, and in that waiting, they lose momentum, confidence, and precious time. The truth is, there is no perfect moment. There is only now and the courage to act within it. Every great achiever, every innovator, every leader began with uncertainty. They didn't know all the answers when they started, they simply trusted that the next step would reveal itself along the way. The difference between those who succeed and those who stay stuck isn't knowledge, it's action. Successful people understand that progress is not born from perfection, it's born from motion. They are willing to move forward even when the path isn't completely clear. Perfectionism often disguises itself as preparation. You tell yourself you're waiting for the right moment, that you're researching, planning, or thinking it through. But what you're really doing is avoiding action. You're protecting yourself from failure, rejection, or judgment. The irony is that by trying to avoid mistakes, you end up making the biggest one of all, never starting. You cannot learn, grow, or improve if you never begin. The bold decision to act, even when you're unsure, is what separates dreamers from doers. When you take a bold step, something powerful happens, the world starts to respond. Opportunities you couldn't see before begin to appear. People who can help you show up. Energy builds around your action. Movement creates momentum. But none of that can happen while you're still overthinking. The mind loves to analyze every detail, to predict every possible outcome. But the truth is, you can't think your way into success, you must act your way into it. There's a saying, you can't steer a parked car. You have to start moving before you can make adjustments. The same is true in life. You don't need the full roadmap, just enough courage to take the first turn. Once you're in motion, you can learn, adapt, and course correct as you go. Every small action teaches you something. Every mistake refines your direction. Every step forward builds confidence that no amount of thinking ever could. The beauty of bold decisions is that they force growth. When you take action without knowing every detail, you strengthen your ability to trust yourself. You learn to rely on your intuition, to problem solve on the go, to face challenges instead of avoiding them. You begin to understand that progress isn't about having everything figured out, it's about figuring things out as you move. The people who change their lives are not the ones who wait until they're ready, they're the ones who start before they are. Overthinking, on the other hand, is like a cage. It traps you in endless what ifs. What if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? What if people judge me? But every what if is just fear dressed up as logic. The only way to silence those doubts is through action. Once you take the first step, your focus shifts from fear to movement. You begin to see progress, and progress builds belief. Suddenly, what once felt impossible becomes achievable, not because the path got easier, but because you got stronger. Making a bold decision doesn't mean being reckless. It means having the courage to act despite uncertainty. It means saying, I don't know what's ahead, but I'm willing to find out. That mindset is what creates transformation. You can plan for years, but a single moment of action can teach you more than a lifetime of thinking. The first video you post, the first book you write, the first conversation you have, the first risk you take, that's where growth lives. Not in theory, but in experience. Every step you take breaks the illusion that you need to be perfect. You realize that no one ever starts fully prepared. Every expert was once a beginner. Every success story began with confusion, fear, and uncertainty. The only difference is that they moved anyway. They learned along the way. They made mistakes, yes, but they also mad. Progress, and progress is always better than perfection. So, don't wait for the perfect conditions, the perfect confidence, or the perfect plan. Start where you are with what you have and take one bold step forward. The clarity you're searching for will come through action, not hesitation. Because the truth is, you can spend your whole life waiting for the perfect decision, or you can make a bold one today and let it lead you toward the life you are meant to live. Every great transformation begins with a decision to stop waiting, stop doubting, and start doing. The theme "you are one decision away from a new life" is more than just a motivational phrase. It is a universal truth that applies to everyone, no matter where they are in life. One single decision can become the dividing line between who you were and who you are capable of becoming. That choice to take responsibility, to face fear, to act boldly, and to stay consistent is what turns an ordinary moment into the beginning of an extraordinary journey. The first and most important realization is that you are in control of your own life. Your growth begins the moment you stop blaming others, your past, or your circumstances. Taking full responsibility gives you back the power you may have unknowingly given away. It means accepting that you are not a victim of life, but the author of your own story. Once you understand this, every excuse loses its power and every obstacle becomes an opportunity to grow. Responsibility is the foundation upon which all transformation stands. When you decide to take charge of your life, the next battle you'll face is with fear. Fear will whisper reasons to stay the same. It will try to convince you that comfort is safety and that change is too risky. But fear is not a sign that you should stop. It's a sign that you are on the edge of something great. Growth never happens in the comfort zone. The people who achieve greatness are not the ones who live without fear. They're the ones who face it, accept it, and move forward anyway. Fear is simply the gatekeeper to your next level. If you push through it, what lies beyond is freedom, strength, and self-belief. Yet courage alone is not enough. True transformation requires consistent action. Small steps taken daily that build momentum over time. Many people wait for miracles, not realizing that miracles are created through effort, persistence, and patience. It's not about changing everything overnight. It's about making one better decision today and following through with it tomorrow. Every small action compounds. Like ripples in water, each one spreads further than you can see. The decision to start exercising, to save money, to study, to let go of negativity, these may seem small now, but they shape the person you are becoming. Consistency builds confidence, and confidence builds results. When you take small, steady actions, you develop trust in yourself. You realize that you don't need to have all the answers to move forward. You just need to take the next step. That's where true progress lives, not in perfection, but in persistence. The decision to keep going even when it's hard is what separates dreamers from doers. Progress is born from motion, not from waiting for the right time. The truth is, you'll never feel completely ready. Life doesn't hand you certainty before you act, it rewards you with clarity after you act. Every successful person you admire started without knowing the full plan. They stumbled, learned, adapted, and grew. What made them succeed was not that they were perfect, but that they were bold enough to begin. Bold decisions are not reckless, they're declarations of faith. Faith in your potential, faith in your ability to grow, and faith that even if you fail, you'll rise stronger. So, what does it really mean to be one decision away from a new life? It means that everything can change the moment you decide to. You can choose to stop living on autopilot. You can choose to break patterns that no longer serve you. You can choose to invest in yourself, to chase your dreams, to walk away from negativity, to believe in your worth. You don't need permission. You don't need perfection. You just need a decision, one that says, I'm ready to become more. And yes, the road ahead will not always be easy. Growth never is. There will be days when you feel lost, when fear returns, and when progress feels invisible. But remember, the same decision that started your journey can keep you moving forward. When you feel stuck, choose again. Choose courage over comfort. Choose action over hesitation. Choose progress over perfection. Each time you make that choice, you take another step toward the life you were meant to live. In the end, it all comes down to you, your mindset, your decisions, your willingness to act. Life will always test your determination, but you hold the power to shape your path. You are not waiting for the right moment. The right moment is waiting for you to decide. One decision, just one, can change the direction of your life forever. Because when you decide to take responsibility for your future, face your fears, take consistent action, and move boldly toward your goals, you stop being a bystander in your own story. You become the creator, the driver, the force that moves life forward. And that's the truth. Your new life doesn't begin someday, it begins the moment you decide.